Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to all of our attendees. Welcome to our Crypto 101 and non-cash asset fundraising webinar. We've got a lot of folks coming in today. I guess we've got some time before the holiday, so it's great to have you all. I'll give everybody a couple of minutes to join us. I hope everybody is having an awesome Tuesday. I'm coming to you from New York, New York, New York. Anybody here who's actually from New York would say I'm upstate. Everybody else in the world would say I'm in New York. And here it is 3 p.m. Full disclosure, this is my third cup of coffee. I will try not to talk too fast. While we're doing this, I would love for everybody to put in the chat where they're tuning in from, what nonprofit they're with, and whether you are Team Coffee or Team Tea or other, because it's 2023. You could be Team Boba. I'll just give you all a minute. While I wait, while everybody drops their information, their location, and their team in the chat, we've already got a Team Tea. Support Mike. I drink a lot of tea when I'm not juicing the caffeine. Another Team Tea. All right, this is going to be a good webinar. I can already feel it. We've got a couple Team Teas. Welcome, everybody. Team Hot Chocolate. Support. Thank you, Javier. I needed some backup. A few housekeeping items while everybody drops that in the chat. This webinar is being recorded. It will go out to you all in the next few days. Please, as I'm talking, drop any questions in the chat below or off to the side, whichever side it's on. As we go, I'll answer as many as I can at the end of the presentation. Before we get started, I'll just give you a quick introduction of who I am. My name is Ryan Fox. Thank you again for joining us. I became a part of the Giving Block as a crypto user. So it's a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I love helping nonprofits benefit from this world-changing technology. We'll just give another moment here. All right. And I'm going to share my screen. I hope you all can see it. So today, my goal is to get you all comfortable with some crypto basics. I want to talk about this at a high level, so I'll give you an overview of non-cash asset fundraising. Let me just see here. Just want to make sure that we're prepared. I'm going to run some polls today. Let's see. Oh, I see. Zoom is getting tricky. This is what happens when you use too much Google Meets, is you get out of practice with Zoom. Okay, so let's dive into it. Thank you all for your patience. I will just give you a brief summary of who we are. So the Giving Block is the leading platform for crypto philanthropy, connecting nonprofits and non-cash asset donors. We're the best at two things. One is equipping nonprofits with the technology, strategy, and support to securely and effectively fundraise these assets, the ones we're going to talk about today. And two, empowering donors to easily give these assets to the nonprofits that they love worldwide. We developed the first all-in-one fundraising solution to securely accept crypto, stock, and donor-advised fund donations. But what really makes us unique is that we provide expert education, strategic guidance, and technical support to maximize your fundraising outcomes. Our unique giving platform connects donors with thousands of vetted nonprofit organizations in just a few clicks. All right, I'm actually going to launch a poll, if I can remember how to do it. There we go. So, first question, what is the biggest priority for your team right now? Is it new donor acquisition, increasing gift size, diversifying revenue, building out social media presence, or the ever important attracting younger donors, that elusive pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Let's see what everybody has to say. It looks like a pretty good mix because we've got a lot of folks today. It seems like new donor acquisition is winning out. I guess attracting younger donors technically falls inside of that, although some folks had a very specific mission to attract more younger donors. Increasing gift size is always going to be a good thing, though, right? And it goes hand in hand with things like diversifying revenue. Let's see here. Give it just another moment. I think most of you have voted. Anybody who's feeling a little slow today can take a sip of their coffee or tea and then favor us all with a vote. Give it about 10 more seconds, and then I'm going to close the poll. I am not going to do the countdown out loud. I'm not going to be that guy today. Just know it's happening up here. All right. Thank you to everybody who voted. So it seems like new donor acquisition is the top, and then increasing gift size is right behind it. So it sounds like you folks know what we're all about, and you know that asset gifts tend to be larger than cash gifts. I think the average for cash right now is around $130, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to give away any of the secrets for later. So we'll come back to this. Just a quick outline of what we'll be talking about today. We'll start with fundraising non-cash assets. Then we'll get more into the opportunity of crypto stock and donor advised funds. We will talk about how it works. We'll go over some philanthropy trends we're seeing and some interesting insights from our annual report. And then finally, I'll leave you with some key takeaways about today's presentation and the service. So let's talk about fundraising with non-cash assets, what you're all here for. So just to begin with the state of philanthropy, we're seeing that overall, when adjusted for inflation, giving is down just a little bit over 10%. The number of donors is down, but it's not all doom and gloom. The average gift size is up. So inflation rates are high, and it does put individual giving at risk, but there are some solutions, right? And that's why most of you are here. It is critical to diversify your fundraising base and acquire the right new donors, the ones who are willing to give those larger gifts. So why diversify? With $250 billion going into donor advised funds and 80% of it still there, it behooves your nonprofit to find a way to meet these donors where they are and accept their preferred method of giving. This works across all channels, right? Major gifts and planned giving are the most recession-proof giving channels. And when you accept modern non-cash, you also build a future-proof program with younger, higher net worth donors. But they don't work with tax advisors. We don't work with tax advisors. A lot of us are trading on our phones on Robinhood, and we don't necessarily know about the benefits as donors. You have to ask. You've got to communicate with us about it. And that's where we find most nonprofits need a little bit of help. Let's see. So you have this kind of basic top level view where everything sits now and the importance of diversifying revenue to future-proof. So let's talk about how you do that. We will go through crypto stock and donor advised funds in this order. And before I do another poll, I love these. Okay. So which non-cash assets do you currently accept? Stock, crypto, DAFs, stock and crypto, all of the above, none. Could that be why you're here? Take a moment. Just let me know where everybody's at. All right, a lot of you are accepting donor advised funds. So we're definitely getting with the times, although my guess is that your DAF donors are probably a little bit older. We also have a few stock, although surprisingly more donor advised fund than stock. That's a shock to me, maybe not a shock to you. A few forward-thinking nonprofits accepting all of the above, maybe here for a little bit of help with what to do with it, how to cultivate. And then unsurprisingly, quite a few accepting none. We'll give it just another moment. I'm going to do the silent countdown thing. Right. Just so you can see where we landed. Donor advised fund is by far the most accepted in this seminar. I usually see stock as the most accepted. And I'm actually surprised to see how many are accepting none today. And that's great news for you because it means you have a huge opportunity with low hanging fruit, right? Stock, donor advised fund, and cryptocurrency are right here at your fingertips. So we'll learn a little bit more about that today. All right. This is the main event. It's probably what you heard about to get you here. So let's talk about what is crypto. I will keep this at a super high level. Won't go off into the weeds, even though I could probably pull up my soapbox and stand here and talk about it all day. The easiest way for me to explain cryptocurrency is that it's a digital store of value. Works very much like digital money. To transfer units of cryptocurrency, users need a digital wallet to send and receive crypto. And in a basic way, you can think of a digital wallet as like a bank account that you personally own rather than paying a bank to keep it for you. One of the most incredible things about crypto is that you can send it anywhere in the world in seconds. So if I send crypto from my wallet, it can reach somebody in the Ukraine or in Uganda almost instantly with just an internet connection. The blockchain for a cryptocurrency, and that's a term that you probably heard tossed around a little bit, it's just a public, unchanging record. And when I say unchanging, I actually mean unchangeable. So it's going to update as people make transactions on the blockchain, but nobody can go in and edit it like a spreadsheet. So it's an unchangeable record of all the transactions happening in that currency. And each blockchain, each currency has its own blockchain. Bitcoin has one, Ethereum has one, but I digress. So the scale of these users, for those of you on the call who are not accepting crypto and haven't really gotten into cryptocurrency, the scale might shock you a little bit. There's a huge user base and they're active users, right? This is not mutual funds. These are people actively trading on their phones. Believe it or not, there are 108 million verified registered users in Coinbase alone. So that one crypto exchange dwarfs Schwab and Fidelity. The amount of active crypto users is off the charts, right? By comparison, the United States has, there are about 300 million crypto users worldwide. The United States has just a little over 330 million. So let that sink in. It's as if the entirety of the United States were using crypto, except maybe for your Uncle Bob, right? Just that 10%. Crypto users are also extremely active. And again, this is the point that I want to drive home. This is not people that are letting a stock sit and mature. They're actively exchanging cryptocurrency as a store of value. Stable coins, which are a type of cryptocurrency, those settlements surpassed 7 trillion, trillion with a T, in 2022, more than MasterCard, which only had a paltry 2.2 trillion. For those of you who are new to stablecoins, they are pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar. So a stablecoin is worth $1 and is almost always worth exactly $1. In 2021, Ethereum, a popular cryptocurrency that I mentioned earlier, moved over $11 trillion. Visa that year only transacted 10.4 trillion. So just let that marinate for a moment. I know a lot of people are used to the idea of crypto as an investment where people buy and hold it, but this is an active user base. So let's dig in a little bit further. So in that user base, we see that 45% donate $1,000 or more, right? It's young. These donors are typically in their 30s. 94% of crypto users are millennial or Gen Z. 83% of millennial millionaires invest in crypto. The average crypto user's income is just about 111,000, way higher than the national average. So they're young, they're wealthy, they're tech savvy, and they're financially literate. They're also typically pretty engaged in social media. So many nonprofits have a donor base that's slowly aging out, and crypto provides an opportunity for multiple generations of untapped potential and younger donors. Crypto donors are generous, young, and wealthy. Fidelity did a study that yielded that 45% stat at the front. They found that crypto donors are much more likely to donate over $1,000 than other investors in their investors in stock. The age of these donors is probably quite a bit different than the age of your existing donors. Typically, nonprofits will say, well, I don't have any donors in their 20s and 30s or younger. That's normal. That's why you're here. Most nonprofits don't. The whole point of accepting crypto is to break into that new donor demographic. So these tend to be net new donors and net new dollars. We're finding that a lot of these donors are giving in crypto because of the tax benefit. They're not your current donors. These people are on Google searching donate Bitcoin, donate crypto, looking for a place to make a charitable gift. For a lot of these younger generations, a lot of their net worth and wealth is stored in crypto. So it's a huge convenience factor for them to donate in crypto. And it's also a tax incentive. So the result of all of these factors is a much higher than average donation size for crypto donors. If you could take all the parts of an ideal donor and assemble them in a lab and build your Franken-donor, your perfect Franken-donor, they'd be a crypto donor. And if you steward that donor properly, you can retain them for years to come because you can create that relationship with them and educate them about the benefits and tax deductibility of donating assets when before they were just playing around on Robinhood. I mean, we kind of have to face it that the great wealth transfer, it's not that it's coming, it's underway. So the millennials and Gen Zs are inheriting about $70 trillion, give or take. You want to meet these folks where they are. You want to be ready to accept the assets that they want to give. This is actually an outdated chart. I apologize. I did not update this. At the time, Bitcoin was up 72.1% year to date. Now we are up over 100% year to date. Bitcoin is completely demolishing every other type of asset that's available. That means that there is a massive tax incentive to donate because now you just had an appreciation where your Bitcoin from the beginning of the year to now more than doubled. Let me say that again. More than doubled. Don't let Bitcoin headlines fool you, crypto headlines fool you. There have been a lot of crazy headlines flying around in the last year. Bitcoin itself has been declared dead over 400 times. There are actual Bitcoin obituaries saying Bitcoin is no more. It's nothing new to us. Crypto has fluctuated 30% or more over 16 times in a single run. That may make it the most tax efficient way to give because the math will tell you that even though it's down since its all-time high, it's up insanely over the last year, much higher than stock. Millions of people are still way up on their investment, even from years ago. So this kind of gives you an idea of where crypto is over the last decade. It shows us that volatility, not a bad thing. So we're over where we are at the end of last year. Year to date, again, Bitcoin is now, this says 72.1%. We are now well over 100%. It's pretty exciting. This will also give you some insight into some Google analytics. We always have to break out the Google. In 2020, significantly more people were Googling the term donate stocks than donate Bitcoin. And the gap has shrunk. In 2022, donate stocks and donate Bitcoin are neck and neck. So at this current trajectory, we expect to see donate Bitcoin passing donate stocks. Relative to the amount of nonprofits that allow donors to donate stock, crypto donors just don't have as many options. That's why they're turning to Google. We at the Giving Block work with over 2,000 nonprofits to accept crypto and fundraise crypto, and there are many, many more who accept stock donations. So the market is a little bit different, and relative to the number of nonprofits accepting cryptocurrency, this is a very lucrative opportunity, right? It's a much smaller pool. Now we'll switch gears a little bit, talk about donor advised funds. Donor advised funds these donations are on the rise. A donor advised fund, for anybody here who doesn't know, allows donors to establish and fund an account by making irrevocable, tax deductible contributions to a charitable sponsor, and they're self-directed, which means that they still get to choose where the money is granted out. Donor advised funds have grown exponentially in recent years. This chart is from the National Philanthropic Trust's recent annual report, and these numbers are massive. Contributions to DAF in 2021 totaled just a little over 72 billion, the highest ever. This number passed the revised 2020 value of almost 50 billion and is almost a 50% year-over-year increase. So a lot of money is locked up in donor advised funds, and the grant payouts have been increasing, which is what we want. We want the money to be put to use. 2021's payout rate was a whopping 27.3%, the highest grant payout rate on record. That still leaves a lot of funds in the donor advised fund. Grants from DAFs to charitable organizations reached a new high of just north of 45 billion. Charitable assets in all donor advised funds totaled 234 billion and change in 2021, just to show you the potential for consistent charitable support that donor advised funds can provide. There is a lot of money flowing into these. Now, I apologize. I know I told you we would go in that order, and I think I broke the order up. I did DAFs first. I get excited about it. So let's switch over to stock donations. Stock donations, I saw in the poll earlier that we had some folks accepting stock donations, although not as many as I thought. This is typically the most common non-cash asset charities accept. It is what we call traditional finance, or TradFi. That's usually the most popular. There is a huge opportunity here. Over $100 billion was donated in stock in 2022. I'm very excited to see what that looks like for 2023. And just to show you what donors have to give, right? I don't think I need to go way off into the weeds on stock. We know what they are. The market size for crypto and stock is a little bit different. For market size for crypto, it's about $1 trillion. For stocks, it's much more, about $46 trillion. That is a significant amount of the world's wealth. For users, though, crypto has 60 million to stocks 145 million. So almost half, when it's almost 2% of the market size. In 2022, we saw almost $70 million donated in crypto. And then, as we just discussed on the last slide, about $100 billion donated in stocks, again, representative of the dramatically higher amount of wealth that is exchanged in stocks. But interestingly, the average crypto gift size was about $6,500 during this time, and stocks averaged a range between $5,000 and $10,000. The takeaway here is, if you are not actively fundraising, you're missing out on most of the wealth in the world. Now, let's also look at who's giving what. And I apologize for my crazy grayed out slide. My Google Slides has gone rogue, so I apologize. When we talk about crypto, and I've said this before, we're primarily talking about millennials and Gen Z. They give crypto and they give stock, and they use both. Baby boomers and Gen X normally skew towards stocks, although we do see a few forward-thinking members of the older generations get involved. In fact, there's a lot of baby boomer and Gen X wealth in crypto. It's just concentrated into a few individuals, as opposed to millennials and Gen Z, or what we call retail investors. And that's the majority of the wealth that's stored in crypto right now, is coming from these retail investors. I think it's important to dwell on this donation size for just a second. So your national average cash gift, I teased this before, is about $128. You have stock donations averaging between $5,000 and $10,000, and crypto donations coming in at a cool $6,500. So as you can see, receiving non-cash is an exponentially higher gift than receiving cash. Why? A lot of it has to do with tax efficiency. It is better to get gifts of crypto and stock versus cash, and it's better to give them. So this gives you a kind of a chart of benefits by donation type. So a donor can give up to 30% more with a non-cash gift that normally would have gone to taxes. So it's a great area to focus on. Your gift is that much bigger, your donor's gift is that much bigger if they don't have to pay capital gains. So this is a big part of the tax incentives. Both crypto and stock are considered property by the IRS. So any capital gains can, instead of being paid as taxes, can be sent to a charity. So that's extremely tax efficient. So it's better to give than cash. It's a win-win for the donor and the nonprofit. The donor gets to do more good, and the nonprofit receives more funds. It's helpful to illustrate this, and this always makes my jaw drop. So this year, if I had $1 million of appreciated cryptocurrency, let's say, I had a good chunk of Bitcoin, and I wanted to give it as Bitcoin, as crypto, and I give it to a charity that can accept crypto, they get $1 million net the fees, right? Using the giving block, it's liquidated almost instantly. If I had to cash it out to cash first and then give it to the nonprofit, a whopping 276,000 of the million is going to taxes. That's money that could be put to good use with the nonprofit, and instead is just going straight to the government to be used on who knows what, right? So this, just to kind of keep this in your head, this is why your donors are excited about giving this, and this is why donors, once they learn about giving this way, will typically reach for these non-cash assets before they'll do something like cash it out and give cash. But who the heck fundraises with crypto and stock? Some nonprofits I talk to look at me like I'm crazy when I say they can accept stock, let alone crypto. A lot of nonprofits think that crypto is fringe. As you can see here, it's not. So you can see from some of the logos that we work with, hospital foundations, community foundations, humanitarian organizations, you'd be surprised, or maybe not, at how many well-known nonprofits are already accepting crypto. We work with over 2,000 organizations, from St. Jude and the United Way Worldwide, all the way down to local, smaller size nonprofits, ones with a regional reach, land trusts, food banks. Nearly 75% of our organizations are actually small to medium-sized nonprofits. We have built hundreds of successful crypto fundraising programs that are raising over 6 figures a year. So just important to know that we work with all sizes, and these nonprofits have realized the benefit of diversifying their revenue and starting to cater toward the younger digital native philanthropist. But where's it going? Where are we going? So again, kind of to dwell on some of the tax education and the great wealth transfer, even though so many individuals hold stock in crypto, not everybody is that tax savvy. And I alluded to this before. They're not knowledgeable about the most tax efficient ways to give because they're just not working with wealth advisors, tax advisors. They're trading on their phones. So educating them is the key to unlocking these larger gifts. And as we continue to expand and share the tax incentive of donating crypto all throughout the ecosystem, and as crypto donors are learning to become more tax savvy, the number of donors has predictably been going up. The great wealth transfer, I said it before and I'll say it again, it's happening. We're in it. It's happening right now. And it's only going to accelerate as we get into the future. Remember, I told you that 83% of millennial millionaires have crypto. And there's $70 trillion that we're going to see move into the hands of these Gen Z and millennials with these windfall wealth transfers, estate gifts, inheritance gifts. A lot of this money is predicted to flow into the cryptocurrency market. So I'm going to take a pause from talking about the high level stuff, and we'll get into the nuts and bolts of how nonprofits are actually accepting these cryptocurrency gifts. All right, so I'll show you a little bit about how it works now that you're all excited about the idea of it. So this is our donation form. It is, as I said, mobile optimized. We're typically giving from our phones. It's a very simple piece of code that you just copy and paste to get set up with the form on your donation page. This allows your donor to select crypto, stock, or credit card, but this is the crypto experience specifically, right? Now, if the donor actually wants to give stock, you can see what that looks like here. If you're familiar with handling stock donations, how labor intensive stock donations are, this right here is a game changer. So the donor can give stock in a couple of clicks. It can all be completed in under a minute. They don't need to call their broker. It's all handled digitally, even though it's traditional finance. As a nonprofit, you don't do anything either. You just let us handle all the hard work. It is a glorious and extremely time efficient way to process your stock gifts. We also have an integration with Chariot, so that enables donor-advised fund donations made in 1, 2, 3 clicks. I'm sure some of you out there are familiar with the guessing game, the Guess Who donor advised fund edition that starts. I'm probably dating myself with a Guess Who reference. The donor advised fund that comes in, you typically spend a whole bunch of needless time tracking it down. So this cuts all of that out and allows you just to easily accept it. We do have a dashboard on the back end. It's got all the donor information, transaction information, reporting. We integrate with most CRMs, which makes this a beautifully easy process as well. And we also automate tax receipts at the time of donation. This is with the donor file on the back end. So if a donor comes back to you during tax season, AKA the next month and change, you can easily I apologize, that's giving season. Tax season is in a couple of months. You can easily resend their acknowledgement and not have to hunt and peck for it. Now, also speaking of saving time, we do have these integrations I mentioned all throughout the crypto and tech ecosystem. So Salesforce, Omatic, Zapier. If anybody wants to put in the chat how you actually are supposed to pronounce that, I would be grateful. And Monday.com, just to name a few. So our goal is to make things easier and more efficient. All right, let's switch gears again, zoom out to philanthropy trends. So just talk a little bit about the trends that we're seeing for the year. Social impact, this will shock exactly none of you, is on the rise. So in 2022, we saw a leap in donations in April and June. April's donations were attributed to the impact that donors wanted to make in the Ukraine and the humanitarian crisis. In June, our LGBTQIA+ nonprofits saw a huge increase in donations for Pride Month. Younger donors who give crypto and stocks through the giving block are showing that they give to causes when they can make a noticeable impact with a cause that they care about. In 2023, we've already seen this to be true after things like Syria, Turkey, Maui. NFT creators and donors have leapt to show generosity, and we predict that these giving habits will continue throughout the year and the giving season. So that means active non-cash fundraising is winning. We're finding people right now want to keep cash on hand in this uncertain economic times. You only have to go to YouTube or TikTok to find out how uncertain it is. And instead, they want to give assets. Now, we still encourage you all to be actively fundraising. It doesn't matter what's going on in the market, although right now, pretty exciting time. But even if it weren't, volatility is good. Up, down, it doesn't matter, because that's what creates the tax incentive for these donors. Let's also talk about investing in technology. Nonprofits are pouring more resources into the tools that'll help them spend less time. They want to be more efficient and more effective. I am going to go out on a limb and say everybody here has heard of ChatGPT. I don't know if you've started using it yet. My mind is still blown. It's been blown all year, but technology is moving at an extremely fast rate. So you want to learn and embrace new technologies before they become expected. At this pace of evolution, that's going to be sooner than you think. So at the risk of using a sports metaphor, my father was a hockey player, so I always, my go-to is skate to where the puck is going. My apologies to anybody who didn't want to hear another sports metaphor today, but skate to where the puck is going, meet these donors where they are, give them the option to give how they want to give. Face-to-face meeting with your donors will always be important, but as teams are looking to expand and do more and scale, do more with their time, tech is what helps them get to those goals quicker. Also, the younger donors, they may not want to meet you for coffee. They might want to be on a Twitter space instead. Also, social impact is huge, right? This is extremely important in the crypto community. Oh, I omitted a slide, I apologize. Extremely important in the crypto community. So many donations have been coming in from these NFT projects, for example, looking to help out with crises. Regulators in Washington are pushing through policy, and corporations are granting out money from CSR initiatives. This is a big priority across all industries. People want to do their part. All right. Let's talk key takeaways from our annual report. I'm sorry, key data highlights. I really the takeaways section is kind of the very, very, very end of this, right? So what we saw, oh, I apologize. I think I am getting all out of order here. There we go. Thank you all for your patience. So what we saw is that about $125 million has been donated here at the Giving Block since our inception in 2018. Even in a quote unquote down year for crypto, we signed up over 1,000 nonprofits. And the founder of Ethereum, one of the largest cryptocurrencies on the planet, his name is Vitalik Buterin, very young gentleman. He made a charitable donation through the Giving Block worth $9.4 million to the University of Maryland last fall to help a research initiative on public health. We saw that USDC, US dollar coin, was the most donated asset. That's, again, going back to that one-to-one stable coin. That's one of those. We processed USDC donations worth $22.7 million to charities, followed in popularity by Ethereum, and then, of course, Bitcoin. So if you want to learn more about these data points, check out our annual report on our website. It's also accompanied by a brand spanking new 2024 crypto market report. All things that I think you'd be excited to read. Now, to get myself back in order here, the takeaways, not the data points, the takeaways. So these are key takeaways from this presentation, things that you can take back with you to understand a little bit more about what we're talking about today, right? We've been doing this 5 years or more, since 2018. So we just want to share a little bit about how to run a successful crypto philanthropy campaign. We want you to make things easy for your team. And to do that, there are 3 things to keep in mind. So number 1, make crypto easy for your team. It's kind of like a cheat, right? I said it. Make crypto easy for your team. Revenue isn't the same as return on investment. So you shouldn't have to hire an additional person on the help. Instead, outsource it to us. It's what we're here for. We're offering the product and tech to make this really easy for you. We automate receipting, we convert to dollars, we handle the reporting, we act as an extension of your development team. You don't have to handle all the complexities of crypto. You don't have to be a crypto nonprofit. We have it covered for you. 2, do not neglect your donors' needs. This is a non-traditional and new way of fundraising. Again, meet the donors where they are. Talk to them how they want to be spoken to. And then number 3, don't just accept non-cash assets. Fundraise with them. This is not a Google Pay button. So we're extremely focused on helping you fundraise. We don't want you doing something crazy like spelling Bitcoin with a hyphen, scaring off your donors. They'll know. They'll smell it a mile away. So we want to help you with best practices. Be active in the community, be active on social media where your donors are, your younger donors are, plug into some new groups. A little bit of effort here goes a really long way. You can't just throw the button on your page and expect gifts to start coming in. You need to activate and create some strategy around your crypto philanthropy program if you want to see real results. Hint, hint, we can help you with it. Our goal is to help you save time and maximize revenue. But Ryan, how do we get started? I'm glad you asked. So you can talk to us. We'll give you a demo. Let us know, and I'll run something at the end of the call that'll let you raise your hand if you want to chat with us. Just prepare for your own internal conversation. Once we've got you, once you've approved it, once we've got you approved, you open your exchange account. That's the magic that happens in the background that converts the crypto to dollars. We'll show you how to create a donate non-cash assets page on your site, and there's some variations of this. It doesn't have to sound quite so stuffy. You will announce that you accept crypto stock and DAF, remind your donors to donate it. Again, this is key. And then you can work with our strategists to earn, convert, and steward these non-cash donors. That's it. It's that easy. So if you want a full demo of our platform, I think you can simply respond to the poll, and then we can book a demo, or we have a QR code at the end that will take you to the website. I really hope you all enjoyed this webinar. I'm going to launch a final poll to see if you'd like to meet with a member of our team. And that's running right now. So at this time, I'll just go down and review any questions you posted in the chat, Q&A box. This is that QR code I promised you. Let's see here. All right, so. Okay. Oh, George, I missed that. You are tuning in from Kenya. Welcome. So, Liz, this is going to be shared as a recording, and you can just reach out if I believe that a copy of the PowerPoint is available as well. Also, Liz, to your question about crypto is actually extraordinarily secure. It is actually something that is now being worked into federal systems, the blockchain. The blockchain allows for a level of security that's never existed before. It's also why illicit transactions are a terrible idea in cryptocurrency. This is how you get caught because it's so transparent and secure. It is just about the worst thing that a criminal could ever encounter or use. To Mike's point, security has improved dramatically over the years, and in the United States, interacting with any of these centralized exchanges like ours is a surefire way to get caught if you're doing anything inappropriate. So the security is as good as it gets. Kara asked, when the crypto stock donation is made, is it automatically converting to dollars? Thinking about the ability for it to depreciate since the market can be so volatile. Good question. So yes, it is converted automatically to dollars. Cryptocurrency happens in about 60 seconds. So we really don't have to worry about market volatility. Stock donation can take a little bit longer because it is traditional finance. We do need to reach out and connect with their stock organization, their brokerage. But this is just part and parcel of taking stock. There is no way to take stock that does not include that lag. So this, we like to think, is the best of all of those stock options because it's a fully automated process for the donor and for the nonprofit. And then we take all of those manual steps instead of you guys having to wait around and figure it out and wait for them to donate it and then reach out and then liquidate it. And then, so this just makes it easy. Liz, thank you very much. Very excited. Dora, if you want to know more about the pricing, then let us know you'd like to meet, and we'll be happy to run a demonstration where we can break down the individual plans for you. That's usually the best way to do this because there are a lot of considerations that go into it. I'm just going to end the poll. And just give a moment to see if anybody has any more questions. Great questions, guys. Thank you. And again, a reminder that this presentation was recorded. So if one of your colleagues couldn't attend, or maybe you think this presentation would be useful for another nonprofit in your network, feel free to share. I believe the recording gets sent out to you within, I'm going to say, a day or two. Liz, yes, exactly. So we would love to follow up. This is a great way for us to explain to you all the ins and outs of not only the plans, but why one or another of them might be appropriate for you, and we can decide together on that call. Might even be with me, in which case I'd be very excited to meet you. Folks, I am going to say thank you and goodbye for today. I hope everybody enjoyed this very special pre-Thanksgiving webinar. I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday wherever you are, whether you're drinking coffee, tea, hot chocolate, or anything else. And I just hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday. If you're in the US, if you're outside the US, we're all eating turkey. It's a big thing. Don't worry about it. Thanks again for joining me, folks, and have a marvelous rest of your day. Take care.